In this video, I'm going to compare all the different options for donating your beautiful hair. And I'm also going to show you a bit about what that process looks like. Now, as much as I love my long hair, my wife...
You're just too hairy, honey. It's time we kid. I think you could pass as a homeless person.
Let's go ahead and dive into our comparison. Now, one of my criteria for choosing which charities to talk about today is that they are not allowed to sell the hair that you donate to the children or patients that are receiving these wigs. So every single charity that I talk about today provides their wigs free of charge. Now, the first charity I want to talk about is actually the place that I have donated to in the past. It's called Children with Hair Loss. Now, this is a very well-respected place to donate your hair, but what makes them so great is that they are my pick for the best place to donate your hair if what you cut off is not super long. Now, if you're in that 8 to 10 inch range, this is about one of the only places you can donate your hair. Now, one of the most wonderful things about them is that they accept any type of chemically treated hair, so it means you're okay to have dyed it and things like that. They also accept gray hair, and they accept hair as short as 8 inches, so that's pretty great. Now, if by chance you're saying, uh-oh, I don't have 8 inches to cut off, you do still have an option for where to donate your hair. If your hair is shorter than 8 inches and you can't wait to allow it to grow to at least that length, there is a charity called Matter of Trust that accepts hair donations of any length. In fact, they'll even accept your dog's fur. Of course, donating hair means your hair won't end up on someone's head, but it will help heal the planet because this charity will use it to create mats that help clean up oil spills. That means I can donate my beard.
It feels like I'm kissing like a hairy animal when I kiss you.
You don't like kissing me?
I do not like kissing you with the long hair. It just gets in my way and tickles me.
Now let's take a moment and go ahead and discuss how to measure your ponytail. What you're going to want to do is pull that ponytail straight. So if you have curly hair or something like that, it's going to be measured as if it was straight. Now, you don't straighten it or anything like that with a straightening iron, but you just pull it straight. And you're going to take a measurement from where the ponytail starts all the way to where the layers begin and things start to thin out. And that is how long your ponytail measures for everything I talk about in this video. Now that we've talked about where to donate your hair if it's on the shorter side, let's go ahead and talk about if it's super long. My sister-in-law had hair that could rival Rapunzel's, and it was pretty awesome when she donated hers. And so if I had hair like that, if I had hair that was over 12 inches, maybe 20-inch hair, something like that, my charity of choice would probably be Wigs for Kids to donate that to. Now, any charity that I mention here today will accept super long hair. I mean, actually, they'd all love it. But I will say that Wigs for Kids is one of the more strict charities when it comes to hair donation, and they said that their #1 length when it comes to hair requests from little girls is 15 inches. So that's some pretty long hair. And I think if I remember what I've read correctly, when they make a wig, there's 2 inches lost on your hair just in the process of manufacturing it. So that's like 17-inch hair is what they're looking for to be able to make hair for their #1 requested length. Now, with that charity, there's also one other neat thing about Wigs for Kids. If it's your daughter that's donating her hair and she happens to be a Girl Scout, they do have right on their website a link where you can go ahead and request a Girl Scout badge for that hair donation. So I think that's a pretty cool thing about Wigs for Kids too. Now again, they're a really well-known, respected charity. It's been around for a long time, and so they're a good one to support. A few things I should mention is that with Wigs for Kids, no perms, no colored hair, and no highlights. Now they will accept gray hair, which is pretty cool, because I don't know that they always did, but don't hold me to that. But you know, they're a little more strict about the hair that they want, so they're a good one if you have nice, long, natural hair. I'm going to be throwing out a lot of links to different charities throughout this video, and I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm posting those links with the names of each charity that I talk about down in the description of this video. Also, while you're down there, you know, if you find this video helpful, you could really help us by clicking that subscribe button. I appreciate you. Now, there's probably a pretty good chance that you'd heard of Wigs for Kids before, and another one that's almost synonymous with hair donation is Locks of Love. Now, I wanted to talk about them today because they're one of the more controversial places to donate your hair. I've seen some bad posts on social media about them. I know that one of the first things people say when you mention Locks of Love is, I used to donate there, but then I found out that they sell the wigs. Now, I did a little bit of research into this and read a few articles on the topic, and also went through their website. And what I found was they probably don't deserve the bad rap. Now, they are a charity that doesn't seek to make a profit, and they do give wigs to children for free. So that's super important. But there are a couple things on their website that make me not choose them as my place to donate my own hair. And that is, one of them is actually on their website. If I can find it here, it says they do not manufacture wigs or hair replacement systems. Now that doesn't mean that your hair is not being used to make a wig, but they are strictly a charity only. The other thing that concerns me just a tad bit, but not a whole lot. It makes sense, and it's the way that I guess they should repurpose hair that's not usable. But any hair that they receive that's not usable, like gray hair, for example, they will sell that to offset manufacturing costs. And that's probably where all the rumors began that made people think that they're not a charity that's on the up and up when they actually are. Now, if you are thinking about Locks of Love, there are a couple good reasons to donate there, and one of them is simply the fact that they're one of the most known, and when you tell people you donated to Locks of Love, they know what that means. The other thing is they have this pretty cool donor gallery. You can actually send your photo of your hair donation in like an email to Locks of Love, and they'll upload your picture on their website. So that's kind of neat. But again, they're probably not my top choice for where I'm going to donate my hair. Speaking of things that are controversial, I have to kind of say for a moment that I really want to just kind of put men that are donating their hair on a bit of a pedestal. It's not easy to be a man and to grow out the type of hair necessary to be able to make a donation. So all you guys out there, good for you. Very good for you. I know that my wife, if you talk to her...
I think cutting your hair is for a good cause. I know you did it before.
You think cutting my hair is for a good cause? What about growing my hair?
Yeah. The man I married had short hair. And that's the man I fell in love with, had short hair. It has just gotten way too long. I mean, you've had long hair before, but this is like, it's longer than mine.
Not only was my wife not on board, but I had my mom pretty much excluding me from any family photos. This time I didn't have this problem so much, but the last time I donated my hair, I was actually working for a fairly large financial institution, and I was getting a whole lot of dirty looks on a daily basis as to why I was letting my hair get so shaggy.
It looks dirty and unkept, and sometimes I think people think that person's like lazy or unkept or bad personal hygiene because they have long hair, they don't cut it.
It's also super inconvenient having long hair as a guy. I mean, you try to do anything even remotely athletic and you're like trying to do it with this in your face. And I mean, I ended up having to keep a headband around my wrists all the time just in case I was going to be doing something that I needed to pull my hair back. Also, and I know you women are saying, big deal, that's my problem all the time too. But you know, I doubt you're probably under a car working on them as much as I am. And when I'm under those cars working with this long hair, even if I have it on a hat or in a bun or anything like that, it's constantly getting stuck under my shoulders and I can't hardly move around, and it's like pulling my hair out of my scalp. And it's also dangerous because, I mean, all the different things that I work with, from saws to tractors. I mean, can you imagine if I got this long hair stuck in my tractor's PTO? That would be the end of me. So there are definitely some major inconveniences to having long hair as a guy, and it's the reason most guys have short hair. And so there's some sacrifices that guys are making right now when they're growing their hair out. And so, you know, hats off to you guys. You know, this happened about a month ago. My wife and I decided to take my 4 kids and go eat some Chick-fil-A at a local farmer's market that was closed for the day. And we went down to that farmer's market and we're sitting there, we're eating our Chick-fil-A and just kind of minding our own business. The kids are running around playing, and an old man stops by and he says, this is private property and that we're not allowed to congregate there. And so we're kind of like, it's a farmer's market, it's not that private. But anyway, we just decided to do what he asked, and we started to walk the neighborhood that was across the street. We took the whole family on the walk there, and we're walking down the streets only to find a police officer stop by, and that man had called the police on us. And that police officer stopped and specifically talked to me and wanted to see what we were up to. You know, all I can think of is that I was being judged not by the fact that I was there with my beautiful wife and children, but by the fact that I had long hair and a beard. So, my African American and ethnic viewers out there, I just wanted to take a moment and tell you how blessed I feel that I can remove the possibility of feeling hate like that again simply by cutting all this off. I wish every white man in America would grow their hair out long and grow a big old beard and just have maybe that chance that maybe for just a tiny moment they could feel the type of prejudice that you all face every single day. Now, while I'm speaking of injustices, I feel like this might be a good time to mention that every charity I talk about in this video accepts ethnic hair. However, none of them accept the charity that uses the hair to clean up oil spills. None of them accept that one except dreadlocks. So I kind of went out of my way and I was hoping to find a place that people could donate their dreadlocks to, you know, be made into a really cool wig. And I did find that a charity existed, and that charity was called Dreadlocks of Love. And I'm not entirely sure if they still exist or not. Their website was not working when I made this video, but they did still have a Facebook account set up. although it didn't look like there were any recent posts. So if you have dreadlocks and you're wanting to donate your hair to actually be made into a wig, I'd suggest searching for Dreadlocks of Love, try to contact them, see if they're still around, and then let us know in the comments if you happen to know if that charity still exists. Another charity that doesn't exist anymore that you may have donated to in the past or heard of in some form or fashion is Pantene Beautiful Links. You're not going to be able to donate to them anymore because they closed up shop. Now before I go into the how-tos of donating your hair, and by the way, I have a tip that will make your hair approximately up to 4 inches longer for your donation. But before I go into that, I wanted to recommend one other charity, and that's called Hair We Share. Hair We Share is one of probably the best charity to donate to if it's really important to you to know what happens to your hair after you cut it off and you send it to them. They have this really neat track your ponytail program where if you perform a fundraiser that raises, I think it's $125, maybe it's $145, somewhere in that range, but if you can raise at least that much money to accompany your hair donation, they will track your ponytail and let you know where it's at, what it's doing, all the way through when it's processed, and then at the very end, they will send you a picture of the wig that your hair helped make. So that's a pretty cool thing that they do, and I like that a lot about this charity. Now, they do require at least 12 inches, and they also say no highlights or bleached hair, but they are good with dyed hair so long as it's a natural color, and they also accept gray hair, so that's pretty good. So we're going to donate my hair in this video, and we're going to get to see that transformation from hoodlum to normal person. But before we do that, let's go ahead and work our way through the process of donating your hair. Now, the easiest thing you can do is go to the website of the place that you're going to choose to donate to and look at their instructions. And a lot of these places actually have recommended salons. And so if you can find one of those recommended salons, you'll find a hairdresser that knows what they're doing and knows how to package it and get everything just the way it needs to be sent to that charity. Now, that's not what we're doing today. Just like I cut my son's hair, my wife's gonna cut mine. So, good luck to me. Let's go ahead and talk about the things that I have to do before she does that. First thing you want to do is go ahead and wash your hair. You can condition it, use whatever you need to get it looking healthy and shiny as possible. But when you're done, do not put any products in it. Then you need to make sure that it is super dry. That hair has to be all the way dry. If it's even a little bit wet, it can mold and get ruined in the process of shipping. Now, before starting to make any ponytails or anything like that, you want to go ahead and just have your whoever's cutting your hair take a good look for split ends. If you happen to have any split ends at all, you want to go ahead and nip those off, because again, these places can only accept healthy, happy hair. One of the biggest tip that I have here today, probably the most unknown item, is that you do not want to just pull everything back into one ponytail. Now, this is sort of the biggest mistake out there that people make, and they pull all their hair into one ponytail and rubber band it real nice and good, and then they cut it off and they have this one big giant piece of hair that they donate. Now, you don't want to do that, because if you happen to notice, like, I don't have any type of special haircut right now. My hair is just kind of grown naturally, and it's been trimmed just a couple times to keep it growing. But even so, my hair is different lengths. You know, this hair on the top of the head, when you get it down here, is going to be, I don't know, shorter or longer or something than the hair that's underneath here. And so you don't want one big ponytail because you can lose up to 4 inches off some of those hairs in there when you pull it into just one. Now that you know that, what you're going to want to do is actually make several different ponytails with your rubber bands. And so you're going to rubber band those ponytails in and get them nice and tight, because if the hair happens to pull loose from there, it's not usable anymore. So you got to keep it all bound real well. If your hair is curly, I should also mention, do not straighten it. You don't want to straighten your curly hair. It's perfectly fine that you just have it all curled and you know, brush it, but don't straighten it. Once you've got several ponytails in your hair, then what you're going to want to do is cut your hair about 1 inch in front of those bands. When I say in front, of course I mean on the side closest to your scalp. So if, let's pretend, if this was my rubber band right here, you want to cut approximately 1 inch above that. Okay, and that just if you cut right on the rubber band, it increases the chances of things falling out, and I think it might make it a little harder for them to process it. And once you have a group of smaller ponytails, before shipping it, I recommend that you just go ahead and bind them all together into one big large ponytail, and you can just take a big rubber band or something like that, but that just helps keep them secure in shipping. And from there, and you're going to ship, you're going to put everything in like a Ziploc bag or some type of sealed bag, because you don't want it getting wet when it's being shipped. And so it needs to be a waterproof bag of some sort, and I'll use a Ziploc bag. But then you want to ship it in like a padded envelope. If you ship it in just a normal, you know, envelope, there's a chance of damage again. I mean, you just don't know what might cut through, or what, you know, I'm sure we've all gotten packages in the mail that, you know, are in cardboard boxes and they're ripped open. So it's a good idea to use a padded envelope just to keep that hair safe. The other thing that I should probably mention is you do want to ship it pretty soon after the hair is cut. The sooner they receive the hair after it's been cut, the easier it is for it to process. And it's a good idea to go ahead and send a monetary donation along with your hair donation if you can afford to do it. This is sort of mind-blowing to me, but it costs approximately $1,800 for one of these charities to process your hair and turn it into a wig. That's sort of what I've read as the manufacturing cost. And so, you know, while a hair donation goes a long way, if you're able to put in a slight monetary donation, that goes a long way further. As hard as it is to cut off something that's taken you years to grow out, it really is for a worthwhile cause. Now, I've donated my hair before, and these are my certificates to prove it. And I have to say that the last time I donated, I don't know that I fully understood the importance of doing this. At that time, I only had 2 sons, and I mostly did the donation just because I was going to cut my hair anyway, and it was a good way to give back. But now I have 2 daughters, and I have to say that I've come to understand how important hair can be, even for someone as young as 2 years old. I mean, my daughters, they brush their hair constantly. They want to make sure that they look good already when they're putting on a dress to go outside. It's pretty eye-opening. And so know that when you're cutting off your hair and you're giving it to a child who is unable to grow hair for whatever reason, it's kind of an important thing that can actually make their life infinitely better. I'm definitely a little apprehensive about doing this. It takes a lot of trust to let your wife do this. Once it's gone, it's gone. it's going to take me a little while to adjust to my new haircut, but that's okay. I went and I measured each one of these little ponytails individually, and while I had some of them that were as long as 14 inches, I definitely had a couple that were more like 11 inches and one that may have conservatively even been as short as 10 inches. So because of that, and I'm going to donate this to Children with Hair Loss Again. And I'm choosing that charity because I like the fact that even if some of this hair is shorter than what I hoped, it's going to be used there. And I think that's real important. You want to make sure that the hair that you donate is used. And I love the fact that they always accept hair as short as 8 inches. And that's not all I'm donating. I've also got my beard in here. And that, of course, is going to go to a matter of trust to help clean up oil spills. So, awesome.
I think long hair on men is good for like farm or country people, but like city people.
I hope this video helped you, and if it did, please help my little family by clicking that subscribe button. We just bought 90 acres that we're hoping to turn into our dream farm, so not only will I be posting videos that show you how to fix almost anything, you also get to follow us on the adventure of raising 4 kids on a dirt road. I appreciate you.